All right, next mailbag is from D-Rock15. Appreciate the comment. How are things going in terms of NIL for the football program?
Yeah, so the most recent kind of bit of information I got on that was at Tim Albin's hiring, like the press conference. So I was told team last year had anywhere between 1 to 1.5 million dollars in NIL and or 1 to 1.25 million. And they're trying to get up to 1.5 million last year. The lines were blurred a little bit on okay, what is Biff Poggi paying out of pocket? Is he paying out of pocket? I still don't have any kind of confirmation on that. But when you hire a multimillionaire former hedge fund manager, you hope that that's where it's going to lead. So Tim is a different story. He talked a ton. He put some pressure on Mike at that press conference about getting the resources you need to have this top level talent. There isn't a great, like I say, a great number now. Like I said, they want to get up to 1.5 million, but we talk about it, man. I mean, there's 85 scholarship spots. There's 105 players on the roster now. You got to find a way to divvy it up. I'll be interested to see what they do. And we asked Mike Hill, I think I asked him this question about will Charlotte hire a GM to help manage these things? And he danced around it. Doesn't look like that's in the cards right now for this team. I mean, we'll get into it in a second here with going back to a previous pod with Normulance that asked a question about NIL, but I don't think it's necessarily drastically improved, but they're going to need to continue to kind of elevate that side, that collective side, to get to where they want to go. Let me pull up the quote now from Norbulence. But Jay, if you want to kind of elaborate your thoughts on NIO, we'll get rolling with that.
Yeah, Normulance, you asked a question, and I really appreciate you asking it because I've thought about it before. Hunter and I, when you asked it, talked about it extensively for a couple of days. I think one
Yeah,
of the Hornets games was that night, and we kind of dove into it. Um, there's a weird thing that happens in college back or in just college sports right now. And do you have the quote of what he
yeah.
said? Can you say it?
So he said, you say it's hard for Charlotte fans for the portal stuff, but the real impact isn't on the fans, it's on the donors. Why should I donate and buy tickets for this? As someone who's had season tickets for 30 years and don't now, I pretty much walked away from basketball and it sucks, but this is pretty pointless. And he was frustrated. I think that kind of led about Nick Graves hitting the portal, becoming the fourth straight leading scorer for Charlotte to transfer in the past 4 years. So that's kind of the context of his comment.
So, of course, having a Dave Portnoy from Michigan is huge, and having a big donor for these big programs is going to put them over the top.
Yeah.
But what really makes them have the success over smaller programs is that their smaller donors feel like their money, their contributions are directly impacting winning. If
Yep.
you're Tennessee, right, and you get Nico, and I know Nico's not there anymore, but for the season they just had, Tennessee had a great season. The donors who donated to Tennessee are like, I gave 500 bucks, I gave 1,000 bucks, I gave $2,000, and I directly saw that money translate to wins.
Yep.
If you're an Ohio State alum or fan and you donate $1,000 to Ohio State, even though that $1,000 is a speck of sand on a beach of what Ohio State's NIL is, they can see a national championship and tell themselves and convince themselves, my $1,000 directly contributed to wins.
Yep.
I'm a reason why my school, why my program won a national championship or saw success. So what that means is the next season, if they donated $1,000, dude, I donated $1,000 and I got to see us have a parade and lift a banner and have all these things. I had a great fall watching my team roundhouse kick other programs in the face.
Literally,
I'm
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna donate 2,000 this year. I
Yeah.
want to see it again because I know that the 1,000 I donated last year directly again impacted and caused wins. On the flip side, if you're a Charlotte donor and you give that same 500 to $1,000 donation and you see that the football team missed a bowl game and fired their head coach.
Yep.
Or you gave it to basketball, you give it to the NIL program there, and you see that Nick Graves still leaves. Then you're telling yourself, I donated this same amount of money that the Tennessee or Ohio State fan did, but they're seeing results and I didn't.
Yeah,
So
we saw
therefore,
11 win season. Yeah.
exactly. So going into next season, I'm not going to donate anymore. So what we're seeing is there's a bigger NIL discrepancy happening, not just because of bigger donors, but
Yep.
also because the small donors for bigger programs feel as if what they're doing is helping, and the donors for the smaller programs feel like this money isn't going anywhere. I'm making a donation that I'll never see come back.
An example of that, and I quote tweeted the Carmelo Anthony Hawks jersey for the NBA heads to get that joke. Jeremiah Odin this past year receives an IL. Obviously, he dealt with an injury. You hope he gets healthy. Obviously, never wish injury on someone, but that's someone that the Charlotte faithful donated 500, $1,000 towards. Saw literally no return, not a single minute played in green and gold, and he's out the door in the portal. So I fully and I texted with Jay about this when Normulance made this comment. I don't think about it from the donor perspective, right? I am an alum of the school, but I've covered the school, so it has to be objectively for me. Like when I'm there, sure, I went as a student, but I'm not thinking about giving back in that side. So it made me kind of explore that thought. And I think you do it not necessarily for the specific players, because anybody, you can't be tied to any player in college basketball nowadays. Even you think about the success you talk about, I mean, Duke just went to the Final Four. All those players are headed to the NBA. It's the player turnover is higher than it's ever been across college sports in general. It's not even just basketball nor football. You do it for the program itself. And this goes back to the roots that programs create top down. This is the AD down to the head coach that bleeds into the players, right? But if you believe in Aaron Fern's message, if you trust in that, then I guess that's where you go. What is your kind of take on that, Jay? Because I don't know another way to justify it personally.
Yeah, so here it is. This is the million-dollar question at this point, right? If a donor for Charlotte is asking, why should I, if they're talking to Mike Hill and they're saying, Mike, why should I still donate?
Yep.
Why should I give my 500, my $1,000? Because I'm not seeing results. The only fix that I can think of, and we talked about this earlier, which is why I said I want to touch on it again, is where you have the foundation
Yeah.
where you're saying it's not just about the money helps, but what we're building at Charlotte is something that's different than what it was for the Biff Poggi era. In the Tim Albin era, we have a guy who has won. We have a guy that's been there, that's done that, that doesn't want to do it the fast way, that doesn't want to do a flash in the pan team. We
Yeah.
have a guy that's willing to change the course of this program over years. So, that 500, 1,000 might not be for the 1 year of making a bowl game. Like Jeff Peterson says, we don't want to make the playoffs for 1 year. He's
Yeah.
saying, no, we're going to get the guys as the freshmen. We're going to build them up. We're going to have them become cornerstones of this program so that your money isn't just going and getting the high recruit. It's getting the guy that wants to be here, who's 19 years old, that now stays here because you treated him well from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the only fix I can really think of at the moment.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's the interesting thing. And that's what you mentioned it. Everyone around the country, no matter the sport, is dealing with. I mean, that is college football now, and there's not a fix. I mean, we talk about this stuff with the Nico guy going to UCLA now, taking a cut in his NIL, but there's nothing, no rules that stop a quarterback from saying, "Yeah, it's Friday night. We play Bama tomorrow. I'm gonna need y'all to run me that NIL bag, or I'm sitting out." There's nothing that stops that anywhere. And there's no, I mean, if we talk about the Wild West NIL, whatever that is, there are no rules. There's really not, and we've talked about it before. Thinking of it could get to a collective bargaining agreement, contracts. We've heard Aaron Fern pitch that, buyouts, so many different things. I don't know the specific answer for it. And as you mentioned, no one does. But Charlotte definitely is in kind of the thick of it right now, along with most mid-major or group of four, group of five programs. That's where it is today.
Yeah, I'd love to have Mike back on one of these days so we can ask him the same exact question, right? Like, Mike,
Yeah.
we want you to talk to the fans directly and tell them why they should still keep donating. Because I think they should,
Yeah,
right? You
for
can't
sure.
just cut it off and expect to ever have results.
Yeah.
However, I'd like to see the head of the snake, maybe not snake is the right word, the head of the horse and Mike being like, hey, this is why your money is going towards something that we are building over time.